Welcome to the Figuring Out Figures of Speech tutorial. What do you think of when you hear the phrase figures of speech? Seem complicated? Don't worry, it is not that bad. Think about how most movies have creative choices or special effects in them, or how art uses different techniques to achieve different effects. Still thinking about music, art, and film? Each of these art forms has a unique set of techniques that creators use to deliver a specific message to you, the viewer audience, so you understand their message. Still kind of tough? Figures of speech are really just a fancy way of saying methods used by text creators to impact or enhance delivery and meaning specifically in written text. Basically, written text is a creative expression like music, art, or film. Figures of speech ensure you stay interested, understand the creator's message. In written text, figures of speech create effects that make comparisons, describe people and objects, suggest different structures, affect an audience differently. These ingredients, combined in any written text, create a situation to help you better understand a text creator's message. You might be wondering, so what? If text creators are to succeed, which likely means they make some money from their efforts, you, the reader, must get what they are saying because of how they say it. But sometimes this doesn't work. The reward of reading closely and critically is being able to understand and evaluate text. That's why learning what figures of speech do in written text is important. The better you understand these created effects, the more accurate your interpretation of what you read. Now let's take a look at creative effects that create comparisons. First up is the metaphor. If you don't remember what that is, it is a figure of speech in which an unspoken comparison is made between two unlike things that actually have something in common. A metaphor doesn't use like or as. For example, some politicians are bad apples. This example is implying that some politicians have the qualities of a bad apple, like spoiled, rotten, and not useful. How can you spot a metaphor? Simple metaphors are expressed in a phrase or sentence, but sometimes more elaborate comparisons are expressed in paragraphs, verses, or whole pieces of literature. Look for two different ideas or objects that have details, concepts, or traits in common when typically they would not, i.e., apples and politicians, right? Next is the simile, which is a commonly used figure of speech comparing two objects or ideas using like or as. For example, I'm as weird as a tuna in a school of goldfish. How can you spot a simile? These comparisons always use like or as to relate two ideas or concepts. Similes are not likely to be more than a phrase or a sentence long. Another type of figurative language that creates comparison is allusion. This is a reference to a well-known person, place, literary text, character, event, or idea. Common types of allusions include literary, mythical, religious, biblical, and historical. For example, sometimes I feel like the Eeyore of the group with a negative perspective on everything. How can you spot allusion? Look for references to ideas, people, etc. that exist outside the text you are currently reading. Is a main character actually named Eeyore? No? Then you likely have an allusion. Allusion is an apt way of making us connect background knowledge to something new in a text, and for the author to add more levels of meaning to their text without becoming verbose. The next two comparisons are often mixed up by students. Hyperbole is an over-exaggeration used for effect. For example, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. How do you spot a hyperbole? Look for a ridiculous overstatement that can describe a duration or quantity, or even an intensification of feelings or emotions. Lie tease is an under-exaggeration used for effect. For example, this food isn't too bad, when in reality it is moldy. To spot lido tease, look for where the author might, instead of stating something directly, they give the contrary statement as if it is true. Let's move on to apostrophe. No, not the punctuation sign, but rather the figurative language element. In an apostrophe, a speaker directly addresses someone or something that is not present or cannot respond in reality. For example, is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee, from Macbeth. Macbeth is speaking to the illusion of the dagger before him. An apostrophe is often introduced by an exclamation, and it addresses its object in the second person. The last figurative element in this set is juxtaposition. Juxtaposition is the use of contrast to call attention to an important trait or idea in a text. For example, in an image, the juxtaposition of light and dark colors to call attention to certain points of an image. In a written text, two characters that are very clearly opposites of one another, which then make those traits more obvious to the reader, like in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Wicked Witch of the West and Glinda the Good Witch. To spot juxtaposition, look for contrasts that show the difference or similarity between concepts, objects, or characters. Do they strengthen an argument, create an emotional response, or otherwise add meaning? Now, let's look at creative effects that create description. First is personification, which is a figure of speech in which a text creator describes non-human objects using human characteristics. For example, the horse snickered at the clumsy rider. When spotting personification, look for traits only people have that are applied to objects or creatures. Can horses actually laugh? Does the wind really scream? If the answer is no, you found an example of personification. Personification is an apt way of making us understand an author's message because we understand how humans feel and act. Next is imagery, a figure of speech an author uses to appeal to our senses of sight, taste, smell, touch, or hearing. For example, the tractor's paint glistened fiery red in the shining hot sun as the motor growled. The rumbling engine echoed across the yard with the sharp tang of diesel fumes spreading through the air. In this example, we can see the red tractor, feel the hot sun, hear the motor growling and rumbling, as well as smell the diesel fumes. When spotting imagery, look for description emphasizing objects, scenery, people, or animals, and consider if words used appeal to your five senses. Often, description gives clues about the setting or characters in the piece of writing. Sound devices are also important figurative language elements. Alliteration is a figure of speech in which a sentence or phrase has two or more similar starting sounds in the words used. Note, these are similar sounds, not necessarily letters. It is used to emphasize a creative description through sound. For example, Randy was a rapid-fire rapper from Regina. How can you spot alliteration? Look for identical sounds at the beginning of a series of words in a sentence. It usually appears in a phrase or entire sentence, and depends on how completely carried away the creative text creator gets. Another sound device is onomatopoeia, which sounds way more complicated than it actually is. It's a figure of speech used to capture a sound in words. For example, my kitchen tap constantly goes drip, drip, drip. When spotting onomatopoeia, look for words that have little purpose other than to describe how something sounds. When you say the word, you should hear the sound. Think of it as sound effects in a graphic novel or comic book. Pow, bam, ring. Finally, we have rhyme, which is the repetition of similar sounds in two or more words in text and meant to enhance the flow of text when it is spoken, making it pleasing to hear. For example, I'm a poet and didn't ever know it. Give me a chance to show you now. I was born to flow a bit. Rhyme is most commonly found in poetry or song lyrics. Look for words or phrases at the ends of two or more lines that rhyme. Rhyme structures have many forms, depending on the effect the artist wants to achieve. Notice different rhyme structures in modern rap or hip-hop verses. Some artists will rhyme flawlessly, while others will distort consonants or word emphasis and force a rhyme where it would not normally occur. Note, there are different types of rhyme, such as end rhyme, internal rhyme, and I rhyme that you will explore in other units. Now, if you are looking to add humor to your writing, here are some figures of speech you can use. Hyperbole. I know, we talked about it earlier, but it's important. It can be a text creator's way of emphasizing an idea with exaggeration. The use of hyperbole in everyday conversation is quite common. While it often creates humor, it can also give insight or information about a conflict, character, or theme. For example, if I don't get to see Shawn Mendes in concert, I'll just die. I got an F on my report card. My parents are going to ground me for life. The key to spotting hyperbole is to look for unrealistic description. No one would really die if he or she couldn't go to a concert. A needle at the hospital is not really the size of a harpoon. No one is really as hungry as a hippo either. Do you know how much hippos actually eat in a day? At least 68 kilograms. Another way to add humor is to use irony. Irony is an expression in which the intended meaning is opposite of what is actually expressed. It is not always humorous, but can be used to create humor. For example, it would be ironic if a fire hydrant caught on fire. It would be ironic if a bald man was given a comb for his birthday, and kind of mean. Irony is a very common device used in all types of text. Some dramatic TV shows use irony to keep viewers interested and to create plot twists, conflicts, or humor. Look for situations or texts that have outcomes opposite to what you originally expected. Irony can be written as simply as one sentence or paragraph, but can be much longer. It is typically something the text creator builds toward in larger pieces of writing. The more build-up, the more surprise for the reader or viewer. Want cheese with that? Here are some examples of how you use figures of speech to create analogies. A detailed metaphor can explain an idea. For example, your one true love is the most sugar-coated fuzzy peach candy. You know the one, that one special extra sugary one in the bottom of the bag. If you have too many fuzzy peaches on your way to finding that one truly awesome one, your mouth might be too raw to recognize that one special fuzzy peach. Or, my 3-year-old sister is a walking megaphone. She needs everything in a super loud voice, all the time. Next are some examples of simile as analogy. My bedroom looks like a tornado hit it. This girl at school is as beautiful as a rainbow when she smiles. Finally, how about using personification to create an analogy? The squirrels outside viciously curse at each other in the spring. The owl hooted in disgust and widened its eyes evilly. More cheese? Here are some examples of how you could also use concrete imagery, alliteration, onomatopoeia, rhyme, or even hyperbole to create stronger analogies. So, have you figured out figurative language? Next time you encounter a text, figure out what figurative language the creator used. How did that impact what they said and what you understood? Then consider how to utilize these tools in your own creations to connect and engage with your audience.